Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the star of our show, Teri.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Music and Me. I'm your host, Teri, and today we're digging into a song that is basically the musical equivalent of standing up, throwing your shoulders back, and saying, "All right, world, I'm done hiding." We're talking about Brave by Sara Bareilles, an anthem that has lifted people up, pushed people forward, and for me personally, it was a huge part of one of the biggest changes in my life a couple of years ago. Honestly, this song didn't just speak to me, it kind of grabbed me by the shoulders, shook me a little, and said, "Say what you want to say." So consider this your official warning. Today's episode may inspire sudden confidence, bursts of truth telling, or spontaneous dancing. Side effects may include courage, clarity, and singing loudly in your car, which, let's be honest, is always welcome here. In this episode, we're going to dive into the story behind Brave, explore the lyrics line by line, break down its musical magic, and talk about why it still connects with so many people years later. So get comfortable. Whether you're multitasking, relaxing, or secretly feeling like today might be your day to be a little braver. And let's jump into Sara Bareilles' powerful anthem, Brave. Let's rewind the clock a little bit and talk about where Brave actually came from. Because, like most things Sara Bareilles touches, the story has heart, humor, and that gentle emotional punch that sneaks up on you. So Brave was released in 2013 on the album The Blessed Unrest. And honestly, the title alone makes it sound like a musical mood I permanently live in. Blessed, but also in constant chaos. If that's not adulthood summarized, I don't know what is. Now here's what makes this song so special. Sara Bareilles didn't sit down and say, "You know what the world needs? A big, inspirational pop anthem perfect for commercials, graduation ceremonies, and people yelling at themselves in the mirror." Nope. She wrote Brave for a friend who was struggling to come out. One person, one moment, one act of love. She wanted to give them something that felt like a warm, supportive hug, but set to a beat you can absolutely dance to. Then enter Jack Antonoff, the musical golden retriever who has produced half the songs we cry, dance, or spiral to. He and Sara teamed up, and suddenly the song became this gorgeous mixture of honesty, encouragement, and a little bit of emotional caffeine. What I adore about this story is how personal it is. Brave didn't start out big. It didn't start out flashy. It started out as a quiet little boost for someone who needed a reminder that their truth deserved daylight. It started out as, "Hey, I love you. You don't have to hide who you are." And somehow, that tiny seed grew into this global anthem that people still cling to today. And I'll be honest with you. This is where the song hit me right in the heart a couple of years ago. I was going through a huge shift in my life, and I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff with a tiny little sign that said, jump. But not in the depressing way, so don't worry yourselves. I just needed something to tell me it was okay to speak up, okay to change, okay to stop shrinking myself to make other people comfortable. And then there was Brave. This song that basically barged into my life, kicked open the door, and shouted, "Say what you want to say." I mean, subtle, is it not? But I think that's the point. Sometimes we don't need subtle. Sometimes we need a musical wake-up call with a catchy chorus. So while this song was written for Sara's friend, it became a lifeline for so many people, including me. And I love that. One act of kindness can ripple so much farther than we ever expect. First off, this song is bright. Like if sunshine had a sound, it might honestly be this song. You've got that upbeat piano driving everything forward. You've got a rhythm that makes your shoulders bounce whether you want them to or not. And then there's this overall feeling of, hey, good things are possible. Stop doom spiraling. It's pop, of course, but it's got that Sara Bareilles twist. Warm, soulful, genuine. Kind of like she invited you into a pep talk disguised as a dance party. So musically, the song is structured in a way that mirrors the emotional journey of becoming brave. You start with a verse that's a little softer and more thoughtful, like the moments when you hype yourself up in the mirror. Okay, today I'll say something brave. Maybe, possibly, if no one looks at me. Then we build into the pre chorus, which has this growing energy like your internal cheerleader is stretching and warming up. And then, bam, the chorus bursts open like confetti. Say what you want to say. It's loud, it's proud, it's not asking permission. The chorus is like the musical equivalent of ripping off the band aid. Now, there's a couple of things that make this song especially powerful. First off, the piano. Sara Bareilles and a piano is basically one of the great relationships of our time. The piano here keeps everything grounded, but also incredibly uplifting, like it's literally nudging you forward. Then there's the vocals. Her voice is warm, but strong. She's not yelling at you, but she's not whispering either. It's that perfect friend who believes in you more than you believe in yourself tone. And next, the production. Jack Antonoff's style shines through in the best way. Clean, motivating, full of energy. It's not overproduced, but there's enough sparkle that you feel like you're walking into your main character era. Next, we have the chorus explosion. And let's be honest, the chorus doesn't just start, it launches. And that's intentional. It mimics the feeling of finally speaking up or stepping out. It's big, bold, and a little bit scary, but in a really good way. The musical arrangement matches the emotional theme perfectly. All the supportive layers, the forward motion, the joyful energy, it creates this feeling that being brave isn't just possible, it's exciting. And I love that because bravery is often portrayed as something dramatic or tense. But in this song, it sounds joyful. It sounds like liberation. It sounds like becoming more yourself. All right, now it's time for my favorite part, the lyric analysis. Because let's be honest, Sara Bareilles does not play when it comes to songwriting. This woman writes lyrics that feel like therapy sessions wrapped in catchy melodies. So grab your metaphorical highlighter and let's dig in. Right from the start, she hits us with, you can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. Okay, Sarah, coming in hot. This is such a powerful line because it's true. Words can heal and they can absolutely hurt. And don't even get me started on how our own words can sometimes be the biggest weapons turned against ourselves. I mean, how many of us have stared in the mirror like, wow, rude. Who said that? Oh, right. That was me. Great. Then she goes on. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. This is where she reminds us that sometimes the treatment we get from others has nothing to do with who we are and everything to do with our own issues. Which honestly, I wish someone had reminded me of that about 200 times growing up. And then one of my favorite lines, or you can start speaking up. Simple and direct, like she's gently nudging your shoulder saying, hey, try saying the thing you're scared to say. I dare you. It's not aggressive, it's just hopeful. Next, we slide into the pre-chorus, which kind of feels like that moment in a movie where the background music starts building and you know the main character is about to do something important. Nothing's going to hurt you the way that words do when they settle beneath your skin. And that is honestly one of the truest lines in pop music. Because once someone says something hurtful, it's in there. It sets up camp, makes s'mores, and refuses to leave. She keeps going. Kept on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. This is Sarah politely pointing out that bottling things up is basically emotional mold. If you don't let the light in, things grow. And not in a cute, inspirational Pinterest way. In a, why am I crying in the grocery store again kind of way. But then she pivots. But I wonder what would happen if you, and right there, you can almost feel her grinning. Like, hold on, I'm about to shout something motivational at you. And then, Boom. Say what you want to say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. This chorus is one giant permission slip. It's loud, it's bold, and it is not subtle. It's like the musical equivalent of a friend standing behind you chanting, "Do it, say it, send the text," but in a healthy way. The repetition reinforces the message. She doesn't just want you to say the truth once, she wants honesty to become your habit. She wants to see you living boldly, not hiding in the corner like an unused gym membership. Then we get to verse 2, where Sara pulls out her people-observing goggles. Everybody's been there. Everybody's been stared down by the enemy. You know exactly what she means. That moment when someone gives you the look, the judgment glare, the condescending eyebrow raise, the "why are you speaking" expression. We've all been there. Some people practically have a degree in giving that look. Next, fallen for the fear and done some disappearing. Yes, the disappearing act. The fade into the wallpaper technique. The "don't mind me, I'm actually a houseplant now" strategy. We've all done it. But she doesn't leave us there. Bow down to the mighty, which basically refers to those people who act like they're in charge of everyone's life story. Spoiler, they're not. This verse is Sara calling out those moments when we shrink ourselves, then reminding us that we actually don't have to. Then we hit the bridge, which is always the place where Sara Bareilles sneaks in a final emotional punch. Innocence. Your history of silence won't do you any good. Translation? All that staying quiet and playing small? Yeah, shocker. It hasn't been helping. Did you think it would? This line feels like when your therapist looks at you and raises one eyebrow, gently calling you out, but also lovingly patting your hand. Then she ends with, "Let the words fall out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave." It's the whole thesis of the song wrapped up in a final push. Not from a place of frustration, but from care, compassion, and hope. This song isn't just telling you to be bold, it's acknowledging why it's hard. It sees the fear, the past hurts, the moments of shrinking, and it still says, "I believe in you. I'm cheering for you. You can choose differently now." And honestly, sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need a pop song to gently yell at us until we remember who we are. Now that we've gone through the lyrics, let's talk about the bigger picture, the themes of Brave. And honestly, this song is like a motivational speaker disguised as a pop track, but the kind that isn't annoying or shouting at you from a YouTube ad. Theme number 1, finding your voice. The heart of this song is all about using your voice. Even when your knees are shaking like you've had 3 cups of coffee on an empty stomach. Sara isn't saying be fearless, she's saying be honest. Your truth matters. Your voice matters. And she's reminding you that there's power in simply saying the words out loud. And listen, saying what you really want to say is hard. If honesty were easy, we'd all be walking around boldly expressing our feelings like well-adjusted adults. But most of us are just trying not to send passive-aggressive emails. The song is a reminder that courage can sound like your own voice, even if it cracks a little. Theme number 2, vulnerability is strength. This entire song is basically one big love letter to vulnerability. And not the cute kind like, "I posted a no-filter selfie." Nope. I'm talking about the real stuff. Saying you're struggling, admitting you're scared, telling someone how you really feel. Sara is saying vulnerability isn't weakness. It's one of the bravest things you can do. And honestly, she's right. Vulnerability is like a gym for the heart. It's painful at first, but eventually you get stronger and maybe cry a little less in public. Theme number 3, rejecting shame and fear. One of the recurring messages is pushing back against shame. The kind that makes us shrink, hide, or turn into background characters in our own lives. She writes about shadows, silence, and disappearing acts because shame loves to silence people. But Brave turns on the metaphorical light switch. It says, hey, Fear has been running the show long enough. Let's try something new. And the song doesn't pretend that fear disappears, it just reminds you that you can move away. Fear can ride in the car, but it does not get to touch the radio. Theme number 4, supporting others in their bravery. One of my favorite parts about the theme of this song, it's not just about you being brave, it's about wanting the people you love to be brave too. Remember, Sara wrote this song for a friend who needed courage to show the world who they really were. It's such a beautiful reminder that bravery can be shared. We can inspire each other, lift each other up, gently shove each other into our greatness when necessary. Sometimes bravery looks like saying, I'm here for you. I believe in you. I want to see you shine. Theme number 5, liberation, emotional and personal. This song feels like liberation, like the moment you finally send the scary text message, or set a boundary, or choose yourself after years of choosing everyone else. It's freedom with a beat. It's the soundtrack for anyone ready to step out of a box they outgrew. And for me personally, this theme is why this song meant so much to me during a big change in my life. It reminded me that stepping into who you really are is worth the nerves, worth the shaking, worth the unknown. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say, I'm choosing myself now. So why do these themes still matter today? Because we live in a world where it's easier than ever to hide. Behind screens, behind silence, behind fear of judgment. But brave cuts through all of that and says, hey, you're allowed to show up. You're allowed to be seen. And you don't have to apologize for it. That message, it doesn't get old. If anything, we need it more now than ever. All right, now it's time to get personal, because Brave isn't just a song I like, it's a song that helped change me. A couple of years ago, I was, well, let's just call it the discount version of myself. Not the fully confident, colorful, slightly odd, happy to speak my mind version you're hearing today. Nope. Back then, I was insecure, anxious, and honestly terrified to say what I was really thinking. I was the queen of, it's fine. I don't want to cause trouble. But this song started something in me. It didn't happen overnight. I didn't hear the first chorus and suddenly turn into Braveheart. But every time I listened, something small inside of me shifted. The message of the song kept sinking in. That my voice mattered, that my feelings were valid, and that speaking up wasn't being dramatic. It was being honest. And slowly, I started being more myself, even if that self is a little odd in the best way. Honestly, being odd is kind of my superpower now. I love it. One of the biggest moments this song helped me through was a difficult conversation I had to have at work. You know, the kind, the sweating, heart racing, can I fake my own disappearance kind of conversation? But I knew I had to say something. I had to stand up for myself. So what did I do? I literally listened to Brave on repeat like it was my emotional pregame playlist. I'm surprised I didn't walk into that meeting with my supervisor with sparkles behind me like I had my own fearless entrance soundtrack. But you know what? It worked. I said what I needed to say. I stood up for myself. And afterwards, I realized I can do this. I'm capable of way more than I thought. In that moment, it changed me. So when I say Brave is one of my favorite songs, I mean it in that deep, life-changing way, not the casual, oh yeah, I like this one way. I owe this song a lot. It helped me grow. It helped me speak. It helped me choose myself. And it helped me become a version of me that I'm proud of, even if I'm still figuring things out as I go. This song was a big part of my transformation. And every time I hear it now, it's like a little reminder that I am stronger, more confident, and more myself than I used to be. And that feels pretty brave. Sometimes I listen to it because I need a little pick-me-up, because I'm not brave all the time, but this song helps me be brave when I need it. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of The Music of Me. I have to say, that talking about Brave by Sara Bareilles has felt a little like opening up a time capsule of my own personal glow up. This song didn't just live on my playlist, it lived in my heart, my confidence, and apparently in that very tense work meeting where I marched in like, okay, channel your inner Sara Bareilles and say what you want to say, preferably without crying. And guess what? It worked. This song held my hand through one of the biggest transformations of my life. I went from someone who kept quiet, bottled things up, and tiptoed around my own feelings to someone who shows up, speaks up, and says, yep, this is me. A little odd, a little quirky, but absolutely authentic. And if that isn't bravery, I don't know what is. So, to Brave, to Sara Bareilles, and to everyone out there finding their own voice, I want to thank you. It's songs like this that remind us that music isn't just something we listen to. Sometimes it's something that lifts us up, pushes us, and honestly gives us the kick in the butt we didn't know we needed. Now, before I sign off, a quick heads up about what's coming next on the show. Next week, we're going full sparkle, full jingle, full whistle note. That's right, we are talking about Mariah Carey and her rise to becoming the undisputed Queen of Christmas. Break out your ornaments and prepare your vocals, or at least your best lip sync, because it's going to be festive. And believe it or not, there are only 2 more episodes left this season before I take a little holiday break. And the final one of the year, that will be my 100th episode. I honestly cannot believe that. When I started this podcast, I didn't imagine it would grow into something that would last this long or something that I'd be so proud of. But here we are, almost 100 episodes later, still talking about music, still laughing, still learning, and still celebrating what it means to have a life filled with sound. Thank you all for being a part of this journey, and thank you for listening, for supporting, for showing up every week. And as always, stay kind, stay curious, stay wonderfully yourself, and stay brave. Peace out, everybody. This has been the Music in Me podcast. Subscribe now so you don't miss a beat.